Sláinte, I had this one set up to be right on time. Then I was having some internet issues for some reason. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, kept popping on and off, but I'm back with you now, anyways. But I digress. Shit happens, man. Tom the Beer Whisperer, at least for the purposes of this video. Let me check something real quick, and then you'll have my undivided attention again. All right, get this fixed here. See where we're at here. There we go. Well, that got me too much to that side. You're going from one side to the other. I can't seem to get that right balance, man. There we go. Anyways, we're going to say that's good enough. I guess I'm tired of messing with it. I'm tired of Tom the Beer Whisperer for the purposes of this video anyway. I've got an Iron Gospel I'm going to have with you. This is a hazy IPA from Banter Brewing right here in Springfield, Missouri. How beautiful that pour is. Not as murky as most hazy these days, but nevertheless, it's really good. Not a huge fan of the style because a lot of them just seem to, I don't know. Well, a lot of them have that chalky residue that turns me off. And I think some folks aren't quite as sensitive to it as I am because I've talked to a few folks. Well, that doesn't seem chalky. I said, how do you not notice that? I've just got a more sensitive palate, I guess, but I don't like that chalky residue that some of them seem to have, and this one does not have that. Of course, a lot of them will add additional ingredients, and I'm not going to really get into at this moment that cause that, but I don't like it. But this one's done so exquisitely well. It still feels like you're drinking an IPA. And that's the problem with me for a lot of this style is they just don't drink like an IPA. A lot of big tropical fruit notes up front. Stone fruit in the middle, some mixed citrus on the back end of a mix of grapefruit and orange zest right in the finish. That works for me. It helps clean up that sweetness because this style is a little bit sweeter than, say, its West Coast counterparts. My second beer with you is going to be a big one. The Materfamilias. I've got several of, well, not this vintage specifically, but several of these that I've had back stock for several years. So it just feels like it's time to weed through them, even though I'm not dead in winter where a beer like this necessarily makes sense. I just need to end. I just need to end the madness, man. This is a 2020 vintage, so I mean it's 4 years old. I'm still, after drinking this one, I'm gonna pop it now so it has time to breathe a little bit. Even after popping this one, I have two of these 2020s left. I've got two 2019s left among some other specialty vintages of the style. I didn't last year, but the previous 2 years I went to their cellar sale, if you will, and bought a lot of stuff, but wasn't feeling it last year. And then with their ownership change, I've had some not great experiences with their beers since the ownership change, and I'm not sure what's going on over there. But I know I'm not the only one that's had some issues with their product, the quality of their product, and that's going to be a problem if they don't get that fixed. But looking back to these beers, back when Jeff Sprague owned it, back when they had the great folks working there that were, I felt were friends. Yeah, I really enjoyed the place. They clearly have some issues they need to figure out at the moment. I'm thinking maybe they misunderstood their market, but anyway, that's a story for another day, I suppose. as we speak, I'm about a week and a half away from my vacation, which I'm very much looking forward to, which is one of the reasons why we are this deep in September. Well, we're about a week and a half in September, I suppose, and everybody's got their Oktoberfest, their Märzens, or their fest beers out. And I haven't had one yet. Usually I've had a few. I usually wait till September before start. A lot of they come out in August, but I wait till September before I start popping them. But I haven't bought any this year yet because I know we're going on vacation. So I haven't bought anything. So I'm looking forward to going where I'm going because a lot of the breweries, a lot of the craft breweries are very German influenced out in that neck of the woods. So I'm looking forward to going there and trying their fest beers and their Märzens and looking at their interpretations of the style and then comparing them to what I have available here to me here in Springfield. I'm really looking forward to that. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Hope I didn't get any on you. I'm also looking forward to bringing a lot of stuff back to share with some friends and look at some of the stuff I really liked and enjoyed and sharing them with some friends. One thing I do like about this one is it does feel like it finishes a little cleaner than most of the style. A lot of them have that lingering sweetness, and again, that chalky feeling that kind of turns me off. This one finishes has very tight carbonation and finishes very clean. With not a lot of residual sweetness. And I think that might be why this one really resonates with me, where some don't, is you got that sweetness. And I think that's a lot of the reason why that style has become so popular is that they are very, very, very sweet to me anyway, to my old palate. I feel like things taste sweeter to me as I get older because I feel that's very sweet. What are you tasting, Tom? And there's a lot of sugars in that, man. You can really feel them. All right. Well, I wanted to let this one breathe a little bit, which is why I popped it a little bit ago. I wanted to kind of warm a little bit. I'm going to pour it rather aggressively to get some head on it. Barrel aged beers don't tend to hold a head very long. That sounded wrong, Tom. Uh, I am, yeah. I don't want to dwell on it, but yeah, it does sadden me when the couple times that I've had beers from the new regime at Mother's, they haven't quite held up. And the last one I had was just, and I debated about whether taking it back to where I bought it. I debated about taking it up to Mother's and saying you have a problem here, and in the end, I just didn't go to either because I'm just not getting out very much. I didn't want to go out of my way to do that. I didn't want to go to the brewery because that would have taken time out of my day too. So I just threw the rest of the 6 pack away because it was. I mean, it was the first beer I drain poured, and I couldn't even tell you how long because that's just not something I do. And it's the first 6 pack, 5 beer, had 5 beers left. It's the first one that I remember throwing away in my lifetime because the beer was just that undrinkable. It was horrible. And when I brought that to other friends that have been fans of the brewery as well, they've said the same thing to me. There was something seriously wrong with that beer. And I don't know what they're thinking over there. I really don't. I know they've had some well, they had ownership change. I know ownership changed. I know they've had some personnel change since then as well. It just feels like the mission statement has changed over there. The whole attitude, I don't know, everything feels wrong about what's going on over there now. And I will admit that I haven't been to the brewery since the changeover, and I've bought beers twice that weren't great. As I said here, the first one just wasn't great, so I didn't, I let it go. But this last one was just so undrinkable that it was So I look back at beers like this that they've done in the past with fondness because this is what I have left. I've got a few of these left. I've got two 19s, I've got two 2020s, I've got some other, just random stuff. I've got a rum barrel left and a couple others. I'm just going to look at these fondly as I go through them. I'm not a collector, and I'm not somebody who sells anything. Yeah, I've never bought craft beer or whiskey for that matter with the idea of maybe I'll make money on this later because I think secondary markets are everything that's wrong with craft beer and good whiskey and small distillery whiskey. Uh, uh, Secondary markets fuck up everything, so I will not be a part of it. I won't. I won't. I won't be a part of it. But I am sad every time I take a drink here, and again, I don't want to dwell on it, but this beer is just so amazing. It is done so impeccably well. I am saddened that I fear that the brewery will not be what it once was. Oh, excuse me. Our Imperial Stout delivers intense roasted malt flavor of chocolate and dried fruit. Careful aging in bourbon, rye, brandy, and rum barrels imparts unparalleled depth. Yeah, it's just a great beer. The original incarnation of the Metafamilias was 5 barrels, and it became 4, and I think they've since shrinked it to 2. Because in a lot of cases, you had some of those barrels kind of arguing with each other. Some of those flavor notes were good, and also the original incarnations added cocoa nibs and raisins, and the 19s, 20s, and then past don't say that they do. So, nevertheless, anyways, it doesn't change the fact that this is a great beer, and anything you bought before the ownership change is going to be great as well. And I don't know the new owners; I've never met them. I've never actually been to the brewery since the changeover, to be honest with you. But the 2 times that I've bought beers from them since then have not been pleasant, especially the last one. I mean, that Atomic Mom Double IPA was just, it was undrinkable. It really was. There was nothing redeemable about that. I am really surprised that somebody said, hey, let's can this, because that should have been a batch that was chucked, because I haven't met anybody that has had that beer that said it was any good. And to me, it's not that it just didn't taste good. It felt like it was infected. I mean, it just tasted like it was just bad. It is the first time in my in my time as the beer whisperer that I've ever chucked 5 beers because it was just beyond that bad. But as I drink this, I am reminded of the fact that Mother's was once a great brewery. They once held great respect in my heart and in this town, and in some cases, outside of Missouri. I'm just sad that I think they're not going to be that again. Because if what I had was any indication, yeah, their best is done. Man. In all honesty, kind of felt like they're not even trying anymore. It was bizarre. But once again, it doesn't change the fact that this is a great beer. Anyways, I keep trying not to go back there, but I'm having troubles, man. Anyways, anyways, I digress. I'm gonna wrap this up before I say anything else. Uh, oh, I have no filter when I'm not drinking. It doesn't get better when I am. I have no filter, man. Whenever I've been asked to, well, whenever I've been introduced to, family members bringing somebody else into the family, this is my brother Tom. They usually say, we don't know what he's going to say next. But the truth is, I never know what he's going to say next. That's the problem. I never know what I'm going to say next. Anyways, I digress. Once again, I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, both very drinker, provide wisdom. All around good guys. Launch you.